Last Christmas, Hyundai gave us a very sneak peek of its upcoming new model, the Santa Fe. And now we finally have it here. This is it. This is the Philippine spec model. And we're here today for a quick preview. Well, it's still a preview, but now we're going to be able to take a closer look at it, and we're actually going to be able to drive it through some short courses. So let's go check it out. So as you may have already seen before, Hyundai has gone all boxy with the all-new Santa Fe. It looks very much different from the 4th generation model, and it's got this very classy, retro, boxy look to it. You also have these H-themed design. You can actually see a lot of H's here in the Santa Fe actually. You have on the grille, you have here on the bumper, and we'll see even more of those as we go around the vehicle. So what I like about this one is that it looks very clean, it looks very macho, and it actually fits the overall physique quite well. This one also sits on huge 21-inch wheels. You get this on the top spec variant. On the mid and the base variant, you only get smaller but still big 20-inch wheels. So bear with me as I try to walk around this vehicle. But anyway, here on the sides, you'll see more of that boxy and rugged look for the Santa Fe. It's got these very large windows here on the sides. You have plastic trim underneath. You've got a two-tone look to it, and it's got these roof rails that come as standard. Interestingly enough, the top spec variant also has a C-pillar handle assist of sorts. I can't demo it right now, unfortunately, but you can grab it if you need to get something from up top. Here at the back, you get more of the same. You have a boxy look, you have more H's, a little more rugged as well. But I admit this may not seem very likable to most people, but it grows on you. Me, I actually like the design. It's a bit unorthodox, but it also looks very retro to me. Now, since we're already here, let's check out the back. Power lift gate, by the way. It has a very large opening, and it also has a very large trunk. So now the second row seats are deployed, the third row seats folded down. You're looking at 725 liters of space. With all these rows in use, you're looking at 285 liters of space. Now with all these folded down, it opens up to 1,156 liters of space. So that's a lot. Anyway, where's the... Okay, here's how you close it. Let's check out the front row. As I mentioned earlier, you'll see more of the H's as we go around the vehicle, and more of the same can be found inside. Anyway, there's a lot going on around here. It's got a lot of tech, got a lot of buttons, and it's a bit overwhelming if I'm gonna be honest. Let's try to start here. Steering wheel, you've got a nice leather wrapped steering wheel with, of course, standard mounted controls. The steering wheel looks actually a bit different from what you see from other Hyundais. It reminds me a lot of the Defender steering wheel, I'm gonna be honest. You have paddle shifters here, you have your stalks here, and the gear shift lever is found over here. Don't know how to operate it, but later we're gonna be able to drive it, so let's talk about that later. You have this large, what's this? This is 12.3 inches, the infotainment system, and it's in one panel with the digital instrument cluster. You also have the fingerprint sensor here, and you have a digital display for the AC controls as well. Now this is touchscreen, but it also has knobs, so good on Hyundai for that. You have, oh, I accidentally turned on the seat ventilation. That's pretty cool. Let's turn it higher. Okay, that's good. You have two USB-C charging ports here in front. In total, there are 6 here in the Santa Fe, including the third row, so that's pretty cool. You have storage spaces here. I think that's almost becoming a signature for Hyundai. You can find that in the Staria and the Stargazer as well. You have this large center console that can also be opened from the back. So if rear passengers need something from here, they can open this one easily. Now, onto the seat, as I said, there's ventilation. Interestingly enough, the front row seats are 10-way power adjustable, including the driver's seat. There are ottomans here. I don't know why anyone would want ottomans while driving, but if you're gonna spend a lot of time in your car, especially when you're idling at a parking lot or whatever, those are gonna come in handy. You also have preset functions for the driver's seat, so it's also pretty handy. Of course, all of your window controls are over here. Oh, and storage spaces. There's also a large one here underneath. That's also gonna come in handy to keep this center console pretty clean and organized. All right, let's check out the second row. Now we're in the second row and I see even more H patterns. H patterns here, H patterns there. I guess they really meant it when they said an H theme design. Anyway, first off, you get these USB-C charging ports. You can find these here. You have a tray underneath the center console. I can't open it. There you go. Extra storage space. You also have retractable pockets behind the front row seats. You have a sunshade, which I will be making good use of right now because it's super hot. You have AC vents on the side and you have a dual sunroof. This comes as standard across the range. You also have a large armrest here in the middle with 2 cup holders. You also have 2 small bottle or cup holders on both sides and a larger bottle holder underneath. Now this second row doesn't have ottomans, but it does recline by this much. It's actually pretty comfortable here. I would opt to close this sunroof though because it's a bit hot. There are no controls for this sunroof here at the back. That's what I noticed. If you need to close it, you have to press it up front. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to go into the third row seat because my knee hurts so bad, but you do have a lot of amenities there at the back as well. You have separate AC controls for your AC vents and you have USB-C charging ports and of course, cup holders on either side. Anyway, I guess it's time to drive this one. We're going to move on to the next station where we're going to be able to drive it on road. So the course right now, we have a slalom, very quick slalom. Then we have a short distance acceleration and braking test. So the Santa Fe, by the way, has multiple drive modes. We're gonna start this one in normal mode. It's my first time driving this one. Just take it slowly. The steering is very light. It doesn't feel like a large crossover SUV at all. Fun fact, the Santa Fe from the first generation in 2000 to the 5th generation in 2024 has continuously grown in size. It's grown by 300 millimeters in length from the time it was launched. So it's now 4,800 millimeters or something. So now we're gonna go through these cones here in the slalom. I'll take it a bit at speed. Okay. So even if we're going a bit faster, there's not a lot of body roll there. Later on, we'll try it in sport mode and take it at even higher speeds. So now we're on to the acceleration test. 3, 2, 1. We're not gonna torque it anymore. Let's just floor it. And full brake. So I think on that stretch we reached 80 kilometers per hour. That's actually pretty impressive. Considering how big and heavy this thing is, it actually accelerated pretty quickly. I'm curious to see how much faster it'll accelerate and stop with the sport mode on. Let's have another go. 3, 2, 1. So I braked a bit earlier than I did kanina, but I was already at 80 kilometers per hour. Now this is already the 3rd time we've done this test and consistently we've been hitting this cone. That just goes to show the stopping power and the consistency of these brakes. That's again another impressive point for the all-new Santa Fe. And I could really feel the power output difference between normal and sport mode. That's nice to have when you're trying to overtake on the highway or you want a more spirited drive. So we're going through the same slalom that we went through earlier with normal mode on. We're now in sport mode. Not gonna go too fast, but just feel how much stiffer it is with sport mode on. That's very impressive. That's very, very impressive. Of course, there is body roll, but it's so much less than what I expected. It handles so well for its size. I can't wait to take this out on public roads and really feel just how comfortable, how well it handles through mountain roads. I can imagine driving this to I don't know, Baguio or somewhere in Marilake, just to try out the handling of it. And I guess now we're on to the off-road track. So let's go. So we're now on our way to the short dirt track that they've prepared for us. Nothing too hardcore, but it'll show us that even with stock wheels and tires and all stock setup, the Santa Fe can go slightly off-road. It comes standard with all-wheel drive, by the way. Oh, and we're also driving, again, the turbocharged variant. It's still pretty comfy. As I said earlier, it's comfy inside the Santa Fe, and now we're here on a slightly beat-up part of the track, and still fairly comfortable. So now, these are some slight articulation tests. Nothing too hardcore. Again, I think these are what? 25 degrees, 30 degrees? Not bad. So again, this is all-wheel drive, so no need to switch anything over here. No need to fiddle with anything. So we're just taking it a bit slow. Not here to jump the car. We're just here to try it out on a rougher part of the terrain. Not bad. It's fairly easy to maneuver on these types of soil. Not much rock here. Not much mud because it's stupid hot today. I'm not familiar with ground clearance yet because they haven't released the specs yet, but wala namang sumasayad. That's what's important. It's pretty high. So there you have it, the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a very comfortable crossover on-road. It has a lot of power under that hood, and it's a very capable crossover. It can go slightly off-road as well, and probably with some aftermarket upgrades, this can go off the beaten path very easily. So 3 variants of this one are available at launch, and we're gonna list down the prices somewhere here. But the range tops out at 3.1 million pesos for the top-of-the-line calligraphy variant. So what do you guys think about Hyundai's new premium offering? Does this have what it takes to challenge its competitors in the market?